Hello, Virginia. What a joy to be with you today. My fellow Americans, we are 105 days away from a great victory for the American people when we elect Donald Trump as the next president of the United States of America. You know, this last 7.5 years has been characterized by failed policies at home and abroad. Policies of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton have weakened America's place in the world and stifled our nation's economy. And we're ready for change. We are ready to put a fighter, a builder, a patriot in the Oval Office of the United States of America. We're ready for Donald Trump, right here in Virginia. And Donald Trump will put the American people first. He'll put the safety and security of the American people first and foremost in his mind. With terrorist attacks abroad and inspired terrorist attacks at home, the American people want a president who will put law and order first at home and confront our enemies abroad. And that man is Donald Trump. Another Clinton presidency will just continue the failed policies of the recent past. Remember, it was Hillary Clinton who squandered the gains that we had made at the close of our presence in Iraq, a failure in judgment that set ISIS on the loose. It was Hillary Clinton who supported the disastrous agreement with the radical mullahs in Iran. They got $150 billion and we got a handshake. And it was Hillary Clinton. It was Hillary Clinton who left Americans in harm's way in Benghazi. And then said, what difference at this point does it make after 4 Americans fell? Well, to all of those who wear the uniform here in Virginia, to all of our veterans who are with us today, and as the proud father of a United States Marine, let me say from my heart, anyone who did that, anyone who said that, should be disqualified from ever serving as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the United States of America. You know, Donald Trump understands the frustrations and the aspirations of the American people, like no other American leader in my lifetime since our 40th president, Ronald Reagan. The people of Virginia knew Ronald Reagan's quality. They knew his character, but they understood that he had a heart that resonated with the heart of the American people. And I can tell you, having been around this good man and his family, he has a heart for the American people that comes, I think, from a lifetime of building and being around men and women who build. This is a man who has built skyscrapers and built skylines, but he's built them shoulder to shoulder with the people that did the work. And he understands the American people. Donald Trump knows. He knows the American people are tired. We're tired of being told. We're tired of being told this is as good as it gets. We're tired of hearing politicians in both political parties tell us that they'll get to these big problems we're facing tomorrow while they pile mountain ranges of debt on our children and grandchildren. And as Ronald Reagan said so eloquently so many years ago, we're tired of being told that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives better for us than we can plan them for ourselves. Donald Trump gets it, and we must decide here and now, this man will be our next president, and Hillary Clinton will never be president of the United States of America. Donald Trump has never forgotten the men and women in this country who work with their hands, who grow the food, who build our roads and bridges, who tend to our sick, teach our kids, protect our lives, and bear the burden and pay the freight of all the government that the American elites are placing on us every day. Donald Trump understands the boundless potential of the American people, and he knows that with more freedom and less government and a stronger America abroad, we will make America great again. You know, the other side just has more of the same. That's their agenda. That's what you're going to hear on television this week. More of the same. More government, more taxes, more regulation. And they're going to tell us this is the best we can do. Well, it's nowhere near the best we can do. It's just the best they can do. Donald Trump knows that by lessening the tax burden on working Americans, by cutting red tape and regulations, by getting runaway federal spending under control, by having better deals with foreign countries, that will be a win for America and a win for our economy. And Donald Trump knows that the war on coal must be brought to an end. We don't need a president who promises to put, quote, a lot of coal miners and coal companies out of business. We need a president who supports an all-of-the-above energy strategy, and we need a president who digs coal. So our choice is clear in this election, my fellow Americans, citizens of the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's change versus the status quo. And I want to promise you, when we elect Donald Trump as the 45th President of the United States, I want to promise you, when we elect this good man as our next great president, the change will be huge. So, for the sake of our soldiers who deserve a commander-in-chief who will have their back, for the sake of hard-working Americans and businesses who deserve a president who will get Washington, D.C. off their back, and for the sake of a Supreme Court that will respect our God-given liberties, the sanctity of life, and our Second Amendment, I give you the man that we must ensure is the next President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. Thank you, everybody. Who are they? Who are they? Thank you, everybody. Great honor. This is a great honor. Great state. I have a lot of property. I have a lot of people in Virginia.
pay a lot of checks, being every night, every day. A lot of great success I've had in Virginia over the years, and we have just phenomenal stuff in Loudoun County, as you know, and we have down in Charlottesville and some other stuff. A tremendous, tremendous, beautiful property. Charlottesville's right next to Thomas Jefferson. He was an architect. You know, he had great taste. He had great taste. He understood. That's some of the most beautiful land I've ever seen. So I love Virginia, and we are going to win Virginia. We're going to win Virginia. I'm going to go over some of the statistics when Tim Kaine was governor. They're not pretty. They're not pretty. They're not pretty. But before I do, I just want to say that Debbie Wasserman Schultz I always knew she was highly overrated. Not good. But she just got fired. They said, Debbie, you're fired. Get out, Debbie. Out. Boom. Boy. They were... How about that for disloyalty, though, in terms of Hillary Clinton? In all fairness. Because Debbie Wasserman Schultz has been so much for Hillary Clinton. And as far... This is why these politicians, folks, other than Mike Pence, of course, he's great. He's great. But these politicians, hey, look. So, there's no loyalty there, right? There's no loyalty. None whatsoever. It gets a little heat, and they fire her. Get out of here fast. She knew what was going on. Hillary Clinton knew what was going on. She knew everything that was going on. She knew it's a rigged system, that Bernie Sanders never had a chance, okay? He never had a chance. And if you look at it, look what's going on. They're having a lot of people marching. Now, a lot of those people are going to vote for us, I'll tell you right now. A lot of them. And not even because they like me or they don't like me, although I have to see, have you seen the polls that just came out from... Right? We had, like, the biggest bounce that anyone can remember. They said, well, if he gets out of the convention with no bounce, that will be a success. Do we have 9 points or something? 10 points? We're leading. We're actually leading in the polls. And the CNN poll was so good, I may have to start liking them again. I mean, I don't... No, they treat me unfairly, but you know what's more important? The poll. But you know, the big poll, that's November 8th. That's the poll we care about, right? But look how disloyal crooked Hillary Clinton was to somebody that put her life on the line. I mean, what she did in order to take advantage of Bernie Sanders and all of his supporters. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, what she did in order to make sure that the system, the rigged system, stays intact and Hillary gets it. And then you see the emails. Can you imagine? They talk about religion. They talk about religion. Can you imagine if that was my... I'd right now be on the front page of every newspaper. It would be horrible. And they're trying to play it down. Well, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad. No, but could you imagine? Seriously, there's such a different standard. So here's the story. So Debbie was totally loyal to Hillary. And Hillary threw her under a bus, and it didn't take her more than 5 minutes to make that decision. Man, I don't want her covering my back. I'll tell you right now. It's true. It's true. Now, the other thing I'm surprised at, you know, it's nice when you're not reading speeches, isn't it, really? Because I can talk about current events. This stuff happened 10 minutes ago. You know, if you're reading speeches, I see these guys. I dealt with a lot of them. I've actually been a very political person all my life. I've always been on the other side. But now for 14 months I've been doing this, and I like this side in a certain way better because we can do things better. They used to love me when I was just a contributor. I'd give millions of dollars just I was a contributor. No, I know. I like this better. I like being non-establishment better. But with Bernie, when you look at what happened, the thing that surprises me most is how he folded. He folded. I thought he was really hanging out tough. Then they find these horrible emails talking about his religion, and is he Jewish, and is he an atheist, and what, and that's not going to play well. And man, that's rough. And that's not as bad as some of the other ones. And I said, there's no way that Bernie Sanders shows up to make a speech. There's no way that he can ever endorse crooked Hillary Clinton anymore. Right? There's no way. And today I see him trying to make the case. And his own people are out there booing. Okay? They're out there booing. So, it's pretty bad. Then I'll tell you, Hillary Clinton, I've been saying this for a long time, and I got it from Bernie Sanders, because he said she suffers from bad judgment. Right? Bad judgment. She suffers from very bad judgment. Her instincts are bad. They're no good. Her instincts are defective. Her instincts are defective. But she's low energy. She actually is low energy. She'll go home, she'll take a nap for 4 or 5 hours, and she'll come back. No naps for Trump. No nap. I don't take naps. We don't have time. We don't have time. You ever see Hillary where she comes out and she'll read a teleprompter for a little while, and then she'll go home, you don't see her for 3-4 days, and then she comes back. And then they used to, I remember in Iowa, they'd put like 3 or 4 people, really nice people in there sitting around a little table. And everyone saying, well, I'd like to ask her a question. No, you're too tough. This is what we have. How do you think ISIS is going to react? Yeah, I don't think so, right? I don't think so. Not going to be good. No, we have tough enemies out there. We have tough, mean, vicious, horrible people. These are horrible human beings. We need toughness, folks. It's about time. We need strength. We need toughness. We need smarts. We need warmth. We need compassion. We need everything. We need everything. But we don't need somebody that goes home and takes naps. We don't need naps. But what did surprise me was that Bernie was so soft on this. I was amazed, because I watched the speech, we must vote for Hillary Clinton. I mean, the hatred he's got, but why would he do that? He looks better if he didn't do it. To me. Hey, what do I have to do with it? I don't care. Whatever he wants to do. But could you imagine if what's taking place now with the Democrats took place in Cleveland? And by the way, I have to tell you, Cleveland did an amazing job. Thank you, Ohio. Thank you, Cleveland. What a job. I spoke to the police chief, Calvin. Did a phenomenal job up there. But what we had, and the Secret Service, working with the Secret Service, what a job they did. But Cleveland's a beautiful place. I mean, really, I was so happy. We had no problems. They were trying to show, I know they showed this one square, where it was this big square, and they had a few people. They bring the cameras in close, really, because they don't want to show all the beautiful grass, with no people on it. And you know why? I'll tell you why. Because people like our message. People like our message. They really like it. And if you look at Philadelphia, I went to school in Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia. If you look at Philadelphia, what they're going through right now, it looks like a lot of people, and it's 100 degrees out. And speaking of that, by the way, I don't know if you saw, did you know I went to the other room? So you have a second room, and then outside you have over 1,000 people, and it's 104 degrees out. Now think of it. And it's the first time I ever did it. I said, let's go to the second room first, right? That's the ante room. But let's go, because it's the overflow room. I said, so I went in there, we surprised them, we were nice. But we love these people. But you know what I also like? I don't have to do it later. And outside we have a lot of people, and I wish they'd let them in. The fire department won't let them in because of a fire regulation, which is very sad, because they're outside. We have speakers out there. I think the speakers are burning up, folks. It is hot. I wish the fire marshal, where's the fire marshal? Is he around here? Come on, fire marshal. If they could get in, fire marshal. You have doors that go right out to the outside. I promise there's nothing like you don't have a problem. I feel badly. We have those people. We have people standing outside. You could get a few more people inside. If they could, let them in. So, that's the way a builder would talk, okay? That's the way a builder would talk. So you had the firing of the head of the DNC, and that was a vicious firing. A lot of things happened. You had her firing. Hillary Clinton's total disloyalty was at play. It really was. People don't say that. They won't say that in the media. Oh, if I did something with Reince, can you imagine if I fired Reince? I wouldn't do that because Reince has done such a great job. Reince Priebus. What a job he has done. And I always used to say, for months now, I've been saying, I'll take Reince over Debbie. And everyone said, oh, but Debbie's a superstar. I said, so is Reince. And then it turned out that Debbie flamed out, and she's gone, but the disloyalty was incredible. And I really mean that because, honestly, whether you like her or not, she worked very hard to rig the system so that Hillary got it. It's true, right? It's true. No, it's true. She worked very, very hard to rig the system. Little did she know that China, Russia, one of our many, many friends came in and hacked the hell out of us. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what they're hacking? I guarantee we'll find the 33,000 emails. Why did Hillary get rid of her middle name? Huh? Hillary? No, but why did she get rid of it? Hillary Rotten Clinton. Rotten Clinton. Hillary Rotten Clinton, right? Maybe that's why. It's too close. No, it's too close. It's too close. You think Mike Pence would say this? I don't think so. By the way, did I do a good job with Mike Pence? Okay? Him and his family. What a high-quality person. You know, you have to vet people, right? And we vetted Mike, and they came back. And these are killers. And they came back with many pages on certain people, okay? Many pages. I'd like to write a book. Many, many pages. With Mike, they came back with, like, nothing. He's like the most perfect human being, this guy. I said, Mike, did you ever do anything wrong in your whole life? No, I don't think so. He is, where is he? He's the best guy. That guy is great. I love this guy. I love him. I love him. But you know what I really like about Mike? So listen to this. To me, a very important thing is her bad judgment. Now, whether you like her choice, Tim Kaine, nobody even knows who he is. No. He's done a terrible job for Virginia. I assumed they said, oh, he picked her. You know, he got picked because of Virginia. Because Virginia is very important, and I'm doing very well here. Hey, I'm employing a lot of people here, and they don't employ anybody. I spent a lot of money in Potomac Falls, Sterling, that area. I mean, I spent a lot of money. We have great, great things happening. Next year, we have the Senior PGA Championship coming. Thousands and thousands of people will come into Virginia and spend a lot of money. Thank you. I love you too, darling. But just think of it. So Hillary Clinton has almost a 50% of the people want a progressive. Okay, we don't have to like that, but that's okay. That's where they are. They want to give everything away and raise your taxes. That's what happens. No. She will have a tax raise. By the way, I have the largest tax cut of anybody running for office, Republican or Democrat, okay? But Hillary Clinton will have a tax cut that is not there. It's going to be a tax cut times 20 in reverse, like a rocket ship. We have the biggest tax cut proposed, I guess, in the last 4 years, and we're going to get it through. At least we're going to get most of it through. I'll tell you what, I'm going to try and get all of it through. But we have, and it's policy, it's, put out there. That doesn't mean there's not a little negotiation, because we're going to have to negotiate. But we're going to have it go. Hillary Clinton's going to have one of the biggest tax increases in the history of our country, because what she's proposing, you're going to have to pay for. Very simple. Very simple. Now, maybe she'll, after she gets rid of Bernie, get rid of all this stuff. Okay, it doesn't help you, by the way. But what she's proposing, she needs to have a massive, massive tax increase. Now, nobody ever talks about that. Do you notice she never talks about who's going to pay for it and how they're going to pay? But just statistically, she's going to need a very major tax cut. But here's something to me that's very interesting. 50% of that party is Bernie Sanders, almost. And they're very passionate. And that's a much more passionate side. Her people, they fall asleep. Okay, they fall asleep. They're watching her. With Bernie's people, they're really out there. They say what you want about Bernie Sanders. He got it on free trade. He got it. Free trade. Now, I'm a free trader. I believe in free trade. You know, they get it all wrong because they just don't say it properly. But I want smart trade. I want to trade with other countries. But I don't want to lose $500 billion a year with China. Thank you, China. We love you very much, but we're not going to lose $500 billion a year. And I don't want to have a trade imbalance with Japan where they send us millions of cars and we send them some beef. And then they send it back, right? And then we send some wheat. They send cars, we send wheat. Sounds like we got to send a lot of wheat, right? The trade imbalance is massive. And with Mexico, we have an unbelievably big trade amount. So they kill us at the border. They kill us. They're killing us at the border. And we have one of the biggest trade imbalances. And what happens? What happens? I'm not even including the drugs, right? The drugs are pouring across. You know, I won the state of New Hampshire. And I got very, very friendly with the people in New Hampshire. I'll never forget them. Because that's an amazing group of people. And I said, what's your biggest problem? They said, heroin pouring across the southern border. I said, heroin, New Hampshire. Because you look at New Hampshire, it's so beautiful. With the lakes and the little beautiful roads and the trees and the forests. I say, you don't have heroin. I said, you have. They said, Mr. Trump, you have no idea. It's one of the worst areas for that. It comes pouring across the southern border. I said, you know what? If I win, I'm going to fix that problem. Well, I am going to fix that problem. I'm going to fix that problem. And one of the ways, I appreciate that. You know, I always like to say if I win, because honestly, life is a very strange thing, and I don't want to be arrogant because I don't want to be accused by them of being arrogant. So I'll say if. But it better be when, or I'm going to be very angry at you folks from Virginia. From Virginia. But the folks in New Hampshire, and you're having the same problems, but they're having it for whatever reason disproportionately badly. Heroin is pouring across the border, and it's going all over the country, by the way. Everybody's got the problem. You buy it for less than a candy bar. And our youth is being poisoned, and plenty of other people. But our youth is being poisoned by this stuff. Heroin. And what we're going to do, thank you. And what we're going to do is, first of all, the Border Patrol agents endorse me. 16,500, they've never done that before. And their job is easier now without Trump. Their job is easier without Trump because, you know, right now they just stand and people go by, and these are great people. I got to know them very well. The Border Patrol agents want to do their job. It's a much tougher job, probably a much more dangerous job. Would you stop people and say, sorry, folks, boom, go back? But that's more dangerous than saying, you know, we can't do anything. It's called stand back and leave them alone. Let them walk right in. How stupid are we? Okay? So I spoke to them, and when they endorsed me, and I said, so let me ask you, a wall, how important? They said, Mr. Trump, it's very, very important. Very, very important. And they know. They know. See, I just saved $1 million. Somebody else would go out and hire a consultant who knows nothing. They'd come in from Harvard. They'd spend about a year at the border. They'd learn nothing. They then write this 2,000-page report that nobody will read. They'll charge you $1 million for the report, and you have no idea what just happened. As opposed to saying, like I did with the Border Patrol, is the wall good? They said, very good. They actually used an interesting expression. They said it's a vital tool to turn things around. It was a very interesting expression. They didn't say great, bad. They just said, it's a vital tool, Mr. Trump, to turn things around, especially the drug traffic. Because it's very tough. And we can build that wall so easily. And by the way, Mexico is going to pay for the wall. You know, just because. They're going to pay for the wall. And we got great marks on the speech the other night. And everyone did. Everybody did so great. We had that, by the way, I have to say, the Republican National Convention was such a tremendous success. It was so great. I mean, we had a couple of people that I think probably destroyed their careers, but who knows? But honestly, that was such an incredible success. And look at what's going on in Philadelphia. That was such a beautiful deal. The city of Cleveland was great. The law enforcement was unbelievable. We had no riots. We had no nothing. It was unbelievable. I'll never forget it as long as I live. It was unbelievable. And I made a speech. And I have to tell you, because I figured this wouldn't happen, because I could, if I made a speech, if I gave the Gettysburg Address as given as good as anybody could possibly get, I figured, you always get knocked. I got great reviews on the speech. I got great reviews. We got standing ovations. Some people said, well, the speech was a little long. That's because we had 26 or 27 minutes of standing ovations. We had applause. And I had a great time doing it because I'm talking about something that I love. We're in a movement, folks. This is a movement. This isn't just, I love what we're doing together, right? I love what we're doing together. I love it. And what I have to say is this. So Hillary Clinton has bad judgment. She shouldn't have picked this guy. Big mistake. Because he is the exact opposite what all of the Bernie people want. Now, if he got 2% of the vote, or 5% of the vote, or 20% of the vote, but you know what? He almost beat her. If the system wasn't gamed, he would have beat her. He would have beaten her. Now think of this. So instead of picking somebody, and you don't have to go with Pocahontas, you don't have to go that far, who, by the way, who hasn't done anything. She's the worst senator in the U.S. Senate. She's got a fresh mouth. Other than that, she's got nothing going. She has done nothing in the U.S. Senate. But you don't have to pick her. But you could have picked a liberal person. And we understand it. We can live with it. And she could have had party unity. Instead, they have thousands and thousands of people going crazy because she didn't pick somebody representative. She didn't pick somebody representative of what's going on. Let's look, again. She's got bad judgment. Whether it's Libya, whether it's Benghazi, whether it's at night with the calls, everybody's calling. The only call she answers is her friend calls. She picks that one up. But she doesn't pick up the calls for help. She's got bad judgment. Bernie Sanders said she's got bad judgment. She's got bad judgment when it came to picking a vice presidential candidate for that side of the party. I actually just asked Mike Pence, I said, Mike, do you think she's going to be forced to change? Because honestly, now, I wouldn't pick him. I wouldn't pick him for a different reason, though. You know why I wouldn't pick him? So, Mike Pence in Indiana has done an unbelievable job. A AAA bond rating, so many different things, job creation, top in virtually every category, right toward the top, at the top. Listen to this. During Tim Kaine's tenure as governor of Virginia, plus he's not very popular, I thought that I would see polls saying he's at 85% and Trump is going to lose Virginia. People don't even like the guy. And a little weird little dude there. I don't know what's going on with him. During Tim Kaine's tenure as governor of Virginia, from 2006 to 2010, the unemployment rate of the state more than doubled. So I immediately went back to my statistician. I said, listen, do me a favor. Will you please check it? He came back. He said, hey, maybe he's wrong, but more than double. This is your great governor, right? Now, Governor Mike Pence cut unemployment rate from 8.4% to less than 5%. Quickly. Since 2013, Indiana has gone from 31st in the nation for veterans unemployment to second, and it's going to go to first. Okay? Veterans unemployment. During Tim Kaine, that's the guy that bad judgment, crooked Hillary Clinton, bad judgment. Such bad judgment. We can't have another president with bad judgment. We can't do it. During Tim Kaine's tenure as governor, the state of Virginia lost 60,000 manufacturing jobs. Now, Indiana gained 30,000. Now it's a different time and different everything. He was, so I'm not comparing. They're not, because they'll say, well, one was here, one was there. But I'll tell you, if Mike Pence or me was running Virginia, we'd do great. This guy did a lousy job. You know why? He's a political hack. That's why. He's a political hack. Look what he's done. Look what he's done. He's always been in politics. He likes politics. He wants to be in politics always. Okay. During Tim Kaine's tenure as governor of Virginia, it averaged almost no GDP growth. And Indiana, as you know, is doing great. I mean, think of it. Here's a beauty. Okay. Nobody is going to vote for Tim Kaine when you hear this one, okay? Tim Kaine. I never even heard of this guy, but that's okay. Less than a week after Tim Kaine became governor of Virginia, 1 week, he proposed a nearly $4 billion tax increase. $4 billion! Including a tax increase on people earning as little as $17,000 a year. He tried to pass transportation reform. He failed. Whereas Mike Pence had tremendous luck. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. So a $4 billion tax increase his first week. Do we want this as a president? No. Now, look, hopefully we don't have to worry about it. I will say this. Virginia has lost 1 in 3 manufacturing jobs since Bill Clinton. These are my statisticians. They're great. Signed the agreement to put China into the World Trade Organization. Don't forget, he did that. But Bill Clinton signed something that was the worst trade bill ever in the history of this country. Okay? In the history of this country. NAFTA. That was Bill Clinton. People don't realize. I'll tell you a little joke. See how hot it is, everyone? Everyone's sweating and soaking wet, right? Here's the difference. I wouldn't pay the hotel bill. I'd say, we're in a hotel, we're in a ballroom, and you know what? Now, these are grown companies. We're in a ballroom, and if we're in a ballroom, it's not supposed to be so hot that everybody in the audience is using as a fan. So what they do is they turn the air conditioning down because they save money. So then, I would not pay them. And you know what I do? I pay my bills so fast with somebody good. With somebody average, I pay them okay. With somebody great, a lot of times I give them bonuses. But here we are in a ballroom, and I feel like I'm in a sauna, okay? Right? Right? So I don't know what hotel this is, but you ought to try turning on the air conditioning or we're not going to get you paid. These people. Am I right? It's hot. Just so you know, I'm really good at this business. You make a lot more money if you own a hotel and you let people suffer and don't turn on air conditioning. You make a lot more money. You would be surprised at how much it costs. But this is ridiculous. And so then there'll be an article. Donald Trump refuses to pay the bill. Of course. And you know what? The smart people say Trump is smart. The other people would say, oh, isn't that terrible, okay? I think the ballroom and the people that own this hotel should be ashamed of themselves. All right. So look. So Virginia lost 1 in 3 manufacturing jobs since the Bill Clinton bill. Hillary supported China's entry into WTO. Roanoke, which is a beautiful place, by the way, has lost 1, and I've been here many times, has lost 1 in 3 manufacturing jobs, okay, since the Clinton disasters. Last year, the U.S. trade deficit with TPP countries, I mean, I could go into this, I could read this stuff to you. It gets a little boring after a while, but it's all the same thing. We have Hillary Clinton wanted to approve TPP, that's Trans-Pacific Partnership. And then I announced that I'm against it. And then she heard me making a speech. This is what I've heard. A friend of mine told me. And I basically said the various reasons, including monetary manipulation, currency manipulation, etc., why it's no good. Why it will be another NAFTA, but maybe even worse. It can't be worse, but it'll be as bad. Okay, different countries, but it'll be as bad. And she heard me. And she said, oh, he'll kill me in the debate. So what happened is she all of a sudden came out against TPP. But as sure as you're sitting there, she's going to approve TPP. If she won, she will approve it. She'll make a change. She'll make a comma. She'll say, move that comma. Oh, now I can do it. Okay, folks, 6,000 pages of material that most people haven't read. It is a disaster. Trans-Pacific Partnership is a disaster. You can't let it happen. We will never let it happen. I will never, ever let it happen. And I don't want to make deals with many countries. I want to do one-on-one deals, one-on-one. You got to see this deal. It's like a fancy jigsaw puzzle. Lines going here, here, there. So if one of the country misbehaves, you can't do anything because you're sort of locked up into this very complex agreement. And believe me, it's just like Obamacare. Thousands of pages, and nobody in Congress read it. And now it's a disaster. And we will repeal it and replace it with something fabulous, okay? All right? But we're going to have something that's going to be very special. And I have to tell you, I appreciate you all being here. And I really wish, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate the folks in the room next door, which is almost as big as this, and it's packed also. And even more than you folks, I appreciate the people standing outside at 104. They're dying. They're dying. Although I venture to say that they're more comfortable than I am right now. It's probably, I think it's actually cooler outside than it is in this damn ballroom. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. But you know what? I'll tell you know what I love? Look at this room. It's packed. You know what I love? And the other room's packed. What I love? Nobody left. Not one person. I always watch the doors. If I see doors starting to open, people pouring out, I usually stop. But that never happens with me. Never, ever. But I stop. Nobody leaves. Because you know what? We're in this together. We're in this together. This is a movement. So Time Magazine just did another cover. I talk about it. You saw the one from the back of my head, right? It's pretty full back there, you know. Could be better. Could be better, but not bad. But a picture from the back of my head. The guy was standing right over me with a camera like this. I studied that picture very closely. I didn't read the story, but I did study the picture. No, I think that's number 5 or 6 that we've had. So I think I've had 2 in my lifetime and 5 or 6 in the last few months where, you know, we had this incredible thing going on. And they call it a movement. And Bill O'Reilly calls it a movement. He's never seen anything like it. He said in his professional career, in his whole lifetime, he actually said, this is the single greatest political phenomena that he's ever witnessed. And Britt Hume said it. And a lot of people have said it. And I really mean this. It's not about me. It's about you. I'm a messenger. There's a group of people in this country that's massive. You know, they used to call it a silent majority. I don't use the term. It's a noisy majority because we've had it. We've had it with the Iran deal. We've had it with our depleted military. We've had it with no borders. We've had it with education where we're ranked right near the bottom. We're doing horribly. We've had it where they want to essentially abolish your Second Amendment. You have no protection for yourself. All right? We've had it. And by the way, the NRA endorsed me, and they're great people. 100%. And the evangelicals, how many evangelicals do we have in here? You better get out and vote, because you didn't vote for Romney, and you better get out and vote for me. You know, we have the Johnson Amendment, where Lyndon Johnson, who is very powerful, put an amendment where basically our pastors, our ministers, and all religions, they don't have the right to speak up. And I had a meeting. I was telling Franklin Graham, who's a great guy. I was telling Jerry Falwell Jr., who's a great guy. Great guy. I mean, so many. We had a meeting where we had 50 to 60 pastors, ministers, and they were saying, we love you, and they were praying, and it was like this incredible scene. And I said, okay, well, folks, can you endorse me? Well, we can't do that. Why? Because we'll lose our tax-exempt status. I said, why? Now, nobody brought this up to me. They were living with it. Nobody was going to go fight it. I said, why do you lose your tax-exempt status? Well, we're not allowed to speak. And I said, wait. And I looked into it. I said, whoa. And that was passed by the ultimate politician, Lyndon Johnson. I mean, it's not like we're dealing with the Pope. This was Lyndon Johnson. Smart, tough guy. But we're smarter and tougher. But look, that was passed by a politician because he had problems with some of the churches in Texas where they were going after him for good reason. And I said, wait a minute, folks. And we put in our platform that we're going to work like hell to get rid of the Johnson Amendment because your representatives, ministers, pastors, rabbis, they have totally lost their voice. And don't kid yourself. That's what's happening to religion in this country, because you see the same numbers that I see. So I think this, if you're evangelical, if you're Christian, if you're Jewish, if you have religion, you better go out and vote for Trump, because this is going to be the last chance you ever get to get this thing done. Okay? Better. So, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I said in my, I will say this. I will say this. I said in my speech the other night, and I meant it. I thanked the evangelicals because I won. I got these tremendous votes. They say, Trump can't win South Carolina, right? I said, why? Because I'd have these tremendous crowds. I won with the evangelicals. I won all over with the evangelicals because they get it. They're smart. They understand. They know I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, but they know I love them, and they know I'm going to fight for them. Better than somebody that is perfect, okay? I'm going to fight for them. And I'm going to fight for other religions. I'm going to fight for people to be able to speak. And actually, when they said this to me, I was in an office building very high up, and I'm looking down. And I said to these powerful pastors and these powerful men and women, just powerful people with tremendous strength and energy and conviction. And they're in the room, and it was beautiful, the voices. And I said, but that means that you're less powerful than those people walking down the street. I pointed to the street. Because they have a right to talk, and you don't. You don't have your right to talk. Okay? And that's our religion. That's our religion. In my case, I'm Presbyterian. I'm Protestant. But that's our religion. And my minister, who I like a lot, doesn't have the right to speak. We're going to end that, folks. You got one chance. We're going to end it. So you better go back to your churches, and you better get everybody to vote. Because 4 years ago, they didn't get up, and they didn't vote for Romney. And to this day, a lot of people don't understand it. Some people do understand it, frankly. But you better get up and you better vote. Because if you vote, if you think about it, if you take Christian, Jewish, take some of the Catholic, take the religions, it's bigger than men and it's bigger than women, right? It's bigger than men. You know, men are 50%, women are 50%. The religion's like what, 80%, right? If you get up and vote, we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to free up great people to go and speak what they want to speak about, and they should be able to speak. Okay? It's very important. So just a couple of things, and I'd like to bring Mike up. Just a couple of things. We are going to strengthen our military. Our military is really depleted. It's not good. I didn't want to go into Iraq. We got there. I said, keep the oil. They didn't keep the oil. These people don't know what they're doing. You know, in the old days, you're in a war. To the victor belong the spoils, right? Today, we get nothing. Trillions of dollars in cost. Thousands and thousands of lives lost. We got nothing. Iraq is a disaster. The Middle East is worse now than it was 15 years ago by a factor of 20. Okay, if we would have done nothing, we would have been much better off. We got to build up our military. We never needed it so much. We never needed our military so much. So we're going to take care of our country. We're going to take care of our vets. We're going to take care of our people. We're going to make America great again. And I have to tell you, one of the really good decisions, because I laugh when they say, do you think Mr. Trump likes Governor Mike Pence? I love this guy. He's great. He's great. And everybody does. I'm getting such great marks and such great reviews. Unlike Hillary, did I ask you before, do you think she'll change? He looked at me and said, no way, because it's hard to do, right? She may be forced to change. He actually, I'll tell you, Tim Kaine stands for the exact opposite of all of the Bernie Sanders people. I mean, it's ridiculous what she did. Again, bad judgment. So I'm going to have Mike say just a few of the final words, and I'm going to sit down and watch him. He is some great person. He's got some wonderful family, and we are having such fun going all over the place. And so Mike can finish off, and I want to thank you, folks. Thank you. Bring it up. Hey, Mike, you know what's funny? Some of the great musicians have said, never do an encore when you get a great hit. So look how strong this is. Everyone's standing, everyone. Now if we do an encore, we'll get a couple of bad questions. We'll walk out, they'll say they weren't so great, right? But we'll do it anyway, right? Do it anyway. So Mike was just asking if we'd want to take some questions.
Yeah, why don't we take some
questions? If you guys want to ask a couple of questions, fine. You go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, we've got, how about one more time for Donald Trump, everybody, bringing the heat today. Isn't that great? Bringing the real heat. They've got some people out here that have, we got microphones. Get your hand in the air. We'll take a few questions. And ready right here? Okay, right over here.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I support
go
you
ahead.
very much, Mr. Trump. Thank you. What do you want to do for the youth? How are you going to make the community safer for us?
We're going to work. One thing we have to do for the youth, and it's a question I get asked, Mike, more than any other question. We have young, fantastic people going to college, and they're choking on their debt. Okay? They're choking on debt. They haven't started life yet, and some of them have given up before they started because they see no way. We're going to work on a plan, and we're working on it now, so that we can help young people get through college and not die virtually. I mean, some of these kids, what they're doing is incredible. The massive depression that's going on because they see no way of ever being able to pay it back. Now, part of that's going to be jobs. But we're working on a plan now to take care of youth with respect to college debt. We're going to work on a very good plan. We have to. We have to.
And let me tell you, Donald was very kind to mention my wife, Karen Pence, and our recent college graduate daughter, Charlotte Pence, are with us today. Would you welcome them? And I will tell you, the focus on college debt is something we've been focused on in the state of Indiana, focusing on-time completion, right? I mean, 4 years costs less than 5 years, 3 years costs less than 4 years. But the best thing Donald Trump will do for the youth of America is get this economy moving again and create jobs and opportunities for young people coming out of high school, coming out of the trades, and coming out of college. Another one.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Trump, for being here in Virginia, and I apologize for the heat, but I do have a question for you.
Do you own the hotel?
Sir, if I owned this hotel, it would be 60 degrees in here. Because that's just. But, Mr. Trump, with all things, God knows with all things possible, we're praying that you are our president come November. The question for you, Mr. Trump, is will you stand by Israel 100% and do whatever it takes to preserve the nation of God? Yes.
100%. We have to stand by Israel. 100%. Yes. Yes. Hello.
Hello. I have one question for you, Mr. Trump.
These are usually the toughest questions.
What's your name, son? What's your name?
Jacob.
Jacob?
Jones.
Jacob
Jones.
Hey, Jake, go ahead.
I have one question for you, Mr. Trump. Now, when you were in office, what will be the timeline for that wall that you were talking about?
He knows. Jacob, that wall will go up so fast and be so big and powerful and as good looking as we can make it that your head will spin, okay? Believe me, it's going to go up fast. Thank you.
Next question.
Go ahead. How about over here? Go ahead, sure. Congratulations.
I have a small business in Roanoke, an upholstery shop. What are you going to do for businesses like us who is just 1 or 2 or 3 people working?
Cut your taxes and no more crazy regulations, okay?
Thank you.
Big, right?
Thank you. That's
All
what I
right?
want.
The regulations are out of control. You know, Mike, so I've been all over the country, and I would have always said taxes would be like the biggest thing. If I had my guess, I would say that people are more angry about regulations than the fact that we pay among the highest taxes in the world.
That's right.
So we'll cut the regulations, okay?
Yeah. Can I also say, I grew up in a small business family in a small town in southern Indiana. And one of the reasons after I became governor of Indiana, the first thing we did was we cut taxes across the board. We cut the income taxes because what this businessman knows is most small business owners file their taxes as individuals. And so with the Trump plan to cut taxes, we're going to lower taxes on individuals, we're going to lower taxes on small business, and I promise you this man's going to repeal Obamacare lock, stock, and barrel. We're going to get red tape off your back and let you grow.
Okay. How about one more question?
One more.
One more.
One more.
Who's got a good one? Who's got a good one? Go ahead, give him. I like that question, actually, right? Go ahead, give him a mic. Give him a mic, because that's such a great question. Go ahead.
God bless America. All right, it's on now. Checking. Okay. The most important question of all, of course, is how can we be praying for you? We love you so much, Donald Trump. And Mike, we are so proud of you guys. You guys are our anthem. You guys are supporting the Constitution better than we ever could have thought a candidate could. Both of you are champions and patriots. We love you. We're proud of you. And we want to pray for you. Maybe not. Why don't I just pray for you guys right now? I'll do it right now.
Wow.
Okay. Lord, we thank you so much for what these men represent in this country. We thank you that your hand is upon them and that they are called up and raised up for this time. And we are asking right now that they will be able to stand firm against the vials of the enemy, God, against Satan. We live in a supernatural world. Look at this ball we're on. We're held down by gravity. 2 inches closer to the sun, we'd all burn. 2 inches further away, we'd all freeze. So we just ask right now, God, that we'll humble ourselves and realize that we are created and we need your help and your support to make them the vessels that they need to be to stand up for freedom, the freedom that you authored in our Constitution. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Wow. Are you a minister or a pastor? Wow. He is.
Thank you, Reverend.
Now I feel better. He is.
Thank you.
Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you. That's a great way to end, actually. But I just want to thank you for being here. So important is on November 8th, you have to get out and vote. If for no other reason, remember this. Remember this. Strong defense, strong borders. But remember, Supreme Court justices. We're going to be appointing, and Mike will be right there with me. And we'll be picking the best right off that list. But we're going to be appointing anywhere from 2 to 5, it could even be. And if you put the wrong people on, you're back to Venezuela. This is Venezuela. So let me just tell you, if you can, get your friends, get everything you have to do on November 8th. Please get out to vote. It's going to be tough. Going to be tough because it's a stacked deck. It's a rigged system against all of us. The reason I won is because we had such an outpouring of love. I mean, the numbers were so big they couldn't do anything about it. But let me tell you, you got to get out on November 8th, and you got to vote. You got to get your friends and your family and everybody and vote. Okay? Thank you all very much. We love you. We'll be back. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.